Hi everybody. So the topic today are breakaway halters, and I've seen different styles of breakaway halters over the years. Some have an entire leather piece over the pole, and others just have a weak spot somewhere where there's a piece of leather in there that would break. Things that are replaceable, and the one halter I think I sort of inherited along the way. It was all nylon, but it had the leather over the top. And yeah, it did break, and it was like $12 or $15 or something to replace that one band. So I made a piece of leather and just made it a breakaway. But I think there's an easier way to make some of your nylon halters breakaway halters. So first, let me say why I think these things need to be breakaway is that nylon is very tough. And if you have an animal that might be hard to catch or something like that, like my old mule is, and you're going to turn her out somewhere, it might be nice to have something on there on her to catch her up with. But I don't like to leave a leather halter on there because it doesn't take the rain and such, and they're kind of nice halters. So I might want to leave something like this that can stand the weather. However, I have a horrid childhood memory of a friend's pony that was sold, and within a couple of months of her selling the pony to somebody else, it hooked itself on a metal fence post and strangled. Died. So that was traumatizing. I grew up with this pony and my friend riding this pony. So anyway, there's ways to prevent that, but yet still have something on them if you really find it necessary that you need to leave a halter on them. So this is just a cheap old, about as cheap as you get, I think, nylon halter. Sorry. I inherited this somewhere along the way. I don't know. It came with some other things and I've never used it. It hangs on my wall, but I thought it was a good one to use to show you an example of how easily you can make something like this into a breakaway. The only thing I've done is replace this piece right here under the buckle with a piece of leather and one Chicago screw. You could use a rivet too, doesn't matter. Just 3 holes. So that's all you have invested is a piece of leather, your choice of thickness. I've actually thinned the ends down on a little bit of it because it's kind of a heavier piece. It would take quite a bit to probably break that, but I thinned the edges down so there's a little less leather there. So that would break if they ever got hung up on it. So the only thing you're doing is you're cutting off this piece that originally held the buckle to the halter, and you're putting in your own leather piece that would break if this was under a lot of strain. Honestly, by the looks of this halter, the buckles would probably break first. But some of those really nice nylon halters, I see some pretty cool award halters that people get. They have their name and things they've won, and they're like double layered, double stitched. They're nice. Hamilton halters are so nice, and they're all double stitched and double layered. So I don't think they're going to break in a pinch, but that would make it so that you can get this thing off, or they would get it off. The other thing, though, to keep in mind is that you wouldn't want to tie up in a situation where if you had a horse that pulled, they're going to get away and get injured. And my concern, I guess my example of my concern is if I was ever broke down on the side of the road, it was hot, I had to get my mule out, something like that, I'm going to have a rope halter, something that isn't going to break to tie her up with, because in that situation, should she break loose, the danger is probably much worse for her than if she were to stay hooked to the trailer, even though she might have panicked. Never had a mule do that actually, but I have had horses do that. So just something to think about. If I were to use this and I needed them tied, I would use a neck rope, tie a bowl in, and secure them up with that. But just a really cheap, easy way to make any of your nylon halters breakaway. So just something to think about. And that's it. Thank you. Bye.